You guys are close. Getting there. What's behind me here is a dragon, and it's really hard to see at this point because the dragon is in 18 pieces. So what we can see here is the beginning of the art being put together. And most of these pieces will have an internal skeleton, which gives it that firm support. And then just enough soil for us to provide a biome for plants to grow. You can see that fabric will go over top, and that just kind of keeps it all together. So our assembly team today are the students at the Niagara Park School of Horticulture, and our students are also learning about this art form. And there's so much imagination in this young group, and as they're learning about plants and how far we can actually push our plant and our plant selections. So when we're getting to the art form of mosaïculture, we're really looking at this product before we plant. And there are a lot of things to consider in making sure that we have the right environment. We want it to have good drainage and the ability for water and air to easily move through the zone. And that's really great for plant development. It also warms a little bit better, so these plants will be happy. And it allows us to apply fertilizer and nutrition. What's really important when we're selecting these plants is ensuring that they're able to be put in fast and they respond quickly to the environment that we're placing them. And in this case, smaller is better. We have to use a lot more plants, but we're really looking at a much more uniform crop and texture, and it establishes so quickly. One of the biggest concerns about these sculptures is irrigation. Now, irrigation in itself is not very aesthetic. So in many cases, we're putting much of the supply lines inside the sculpture, but you really must think ahead. This sculpture is in 16 pieces. It's over 10 meters in the air, and so we have to systematically install irrigation that is concealed, provides proper balance of moisture all the way through the sculpture, but also be able to stage it in a way that we can assemble it as the pieces are coming together. So we're finally getting here. We have been working for months and months on this wonderful new exhibit called Whimsical Creatures. We're here in the Artist Garden at our Niagara Park's Floral Showhouse, and we're just about there. As you can see, there's a buzz in the air with not only our bees and talking about our pollinator stories, but look at the detail. How dramatic can that be? We talk about wow all the time, and we're definitely starting to see that within our garden spaces. Our teams have been working really hard at putting it all together. We've been looking at planning and we're looking at detail, and you can see here the team is now extending that work not only into the gardens, but look at the results of the work within the last few months that we've been talking about how to put these sculptures together, and I think we've done it. We can see the detail, the sculptures are coming to life. It is about that trimming and really taking it into almost a life form of its own. And here we are at the Pegasus, another whimsical creature with different plants, and we can tell that story not only through its form, but also in the type of plants that we've been using for texture and design. And today the team is actually working on pruning and trimming and finding that dimension of muscles and feathers. It's really a lot of fun. You know, one of those first details is making sure that the plants survive. These wings at the tip that could dry out and get very, very hot. But as you come down, water moves kind of like one way. It will follow its own course. And it gets more moist as we get to the bottom of the wings and into the body. And so that all takes a bit of horticultural science and awareness to get it right. Our pièce de résistance is actually the dragon, and it's quite a lot of planning. The dragon itself is 16 different pieces. We have to think backwards as we're putting it together. We look at the head, but the head was actually the very last piece to go on. It starts with the legs and the body, and then the tail, and then the wings, and then finally that head. And it took us months, really hundreds of hours, to assemble just the dragon between the soil and the irrigation and also the planting plan. And now we can see the fruit of all of that is this wonderful creature that's really coming to life. The other factor that sees it all through and gets it done for us are our teams. We as a team invite you to come back to the Floral Showhouse and see our whimsical creatures.